Week number 9 was a mixed bag for sure. And I know a lot of people are going to be panicked out there. A lot of panic Peters are going to stroll in here. And I get it. But one thing you got to keep in mind is so many players struggled this week. It was a disastrous week. Reminds me of a couple weeks back. Last week was phenomenal. For the most part, it was an absolute amazing week last week. This week was just very meh. Very pedestrian across the board. And I'm talking from Tyreek Hill to Cooper Kupp to a plethora of players just across the board. Now, we had some standouts. CJ Stroud was an absolute monster. Tank Dell to the freaking moon. We had a handful of players that did well, and then we had Arthur Smith just absolutely becoming my least favorite human being in the entire planet. I honestly feel like this is the person that agitates me more than anybody on planet Earth. And I know that a lot of people feel that way, but this man is ruining Bijan Robinson. Why in the hell would you draft him? Why draft him? Why not draft a defensive player and beef up the defense? Why draft him at all? It makes no sense whatsoever. And he enjoys it. It's not about fantasy. Everybody keeps saying he hates your fantasy. He doesn't care about anything but doing the opposite of what people tell him he should be doing. And he's in that smirk on his face. He drives me nuts. He drives me nuts, and it infuriates me. I wanted to smash my head through my desk right now. I'm so upset about the misuse of Bijan Robinson. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about CJ Stroud. We're going to talk about Dalton freaking Kincaid. There's good and bad. Good and bad. The Fantasy Football Show begins now.
Live from the FantasyFootballShow.com studios.
It's the Fantasy Football Show. Live!
Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern. Smitty is also live whenever news breaks.
From the FantasyFootballShow.com news desk, here is your breaking news.
Breaking news, this just in, Joe Burrow is him. People are getting burrowed left and right, and people are going to remember it.
Get burrowed.
But even after a big, solid performance out of Joe Burrow, let's put up this Sunday evening game stat here. Now, 348-2, he could have done a little bit more, could have scored another touchdown. There is certainly a lot left on the table for both sides, especially in the Jamar Chase category. 4 for 41. Hurt his back, fell on his back. They were looking at him for a while on the sideline. He came back in and made a big, fantastic, it was like a 32-yard catch. Yeah, 32-yard catch is long. He did well. Higgins, 110, 8 receptions, long overdue. Mixon, 11 for 25 and a touch, and he had 5 for 31. Mixon had a pretty decent day. Joe Burrow was great. He was great. From a football perspective, he was amazing. From a fantasy perspective, he was very good. But you always get upset when points get left on the board. Let's see here. I think I have a double copy here of that. Let me just see if I can pull the other. It's a triple. We got triplets of the same graphic. Is this it? Here it is. Josh Allen, 258, 1 touchdown, 1 INT, 8 carries for 44 yards and a touchdown. Very solid day out of Josh Allen. Stephon Diggs, 6 for 86 and 1. Dalton Kincaid, 10 receptions for 81. He did fumble the football. There's definitely opportunity for him to score in this game. Just didn't quite fall into place, but they love him. They use him a ton. They rely on him. And I think the fumble's not a big deal. He got thrown up in the air. He was a little scared, I think, to fall on his head, so he let go of the ball. Just a natural reaction sometimes when you're doing a flip in the air and somebody knocks you upside down, and he just let go of the ball because he was worried about landing on his head. But Kincaid, 10 for 81. It was a day. It was a day. James Cook, 4 for 19 and 6 carries for 20 yards. The run game, I think the announcers, I don't know who said it, which announcer, but said it really well when they said that the run game is really just the short passes for this offense. And I feel like if you've got James Cook, that's just what you got to expect. That he's got to be heavily involved in the short passing game, or there's no guarantee for him to get, production. It's just that kind of run. It's a short pass game is the run. And I think that, I'm not worried about Josh Allen. I'm not worried about Diggs. I'm not worried about Jamar Chase unless there's some kind of back issue that develops from the back injury that he came back from. I'm not worried about, anything on either side of these two teams from offensive perspective. Love every single piece, and I'd buy low if there was an opportunity to buy Jamar Chase low. I'm not scared or worried or pissed off all that much about Jamar Chase. It is what it is. You're going to have good and bad games. And for Joe Burrow to do as well as he did with Jamar Chase not doing great, that's fantastic for Joe Burrow owners. So that game out of the way, okay? That game's out of the way. Let's talk about this man right here, CJ Stroud, looking like a phenom right now. Just an unbelievable display by this man. And really, can we give kudos to the coaching staff and say that Salah and what they've got going on over there in Houston is fantastic. The future is bright. They do need an RB. We loved Dameon Pierce last year. We're hopeful he could kind of recapture some of that excitement and spark and magic that he had in his rookie year, but it's not happening. They do need an electric RB, and I think they do need to focus on that in the 2024 NFL Draft. But this team is coming around nicely. The Cardinals have their first round pick, and everybody said in Vegas this might be the number 1 overall pick or the number 2 overall pick. I don't think so. Stroud's looking phenomenal. 30 of 42, 470, 5 tutties, 2 of which went to my boy. Where's he at? Tank Dell. The man known as Tank. 6 of 11 targets. Imagine if he pulled in a higher percentage of those targets. 6 of 11 for 114 and 2 tutties. Tank to the moon.
Mashed potatoes!
Tank to the moon. CJ Stroud.
To the moon.
Send them both to Saturn.
To Saturn.
And I do like what Nico was throwing down as well. He had a touchdown. This is an amazing game. We'll get to Noah when we get to his card somewhere, but phenomenal day out of both these guys. Now, if you sat Tank Dell, don't be too hard on yourself because he had gone missing for quite some time. His birthday was last week. He didn't even do anything on his birthday, so a lot of people were down on him. They didn't know if they should start him. And so you're not alone. There are a lot of people out there that probably did that. But Tank Dell, and as I've said, you guys have probably heard me say this over and over and over. Rookies are up and down. They're never, and even quarterbacks, they're never straight across awesome the entire season. Where's my focus? Here's week 1. Here's week 17. They're never straight across. They're always like this. And they're usually, even Jamar Chase, during Jamar Chase's rookie season, he was like this, okay? He was like, and then he hit this lull around, I think it was like, if I remember correctly, like week 9 or week 8 or something like that, and then he was bad for a while. Then he exploded, and in the last couple weeks, absolutely won people their championship. And I've always said this about rookie wide receivers specifically, and rookie running backs usually hit a wall around like weeks 9 through 12, and when they hit that wall, depending on how thick the wall is, a rookie running back's just got to punch through the wall, and if they punch through, they'll keep going up, they'll keep improving. If they get injured during this wall, whether it's a 2-week wall, a 1-week wall, a 4-week wall, that's the fear. Do they get hurt in between pushing through? Rookie wide receivers are different. It's like they go up, they're kind of like this, and then they go down for a while. And the good ones don't rebound. The great ones, after they're, Jamar Chase, Tank Dell right now, they explode back up. The good ones kind of stay up the remainder of the season. So I'm a little hopeful of Tank Dell continuing his course that he's on right now. And he's kind of a locked-in wide receiver 3 go forward at this current moment in time. But Tank Dell to the freaking moon. We're going to put all the people we talked about in the corner here at the top. And we're going to go through every single one. Before I get to Super Chats, guys, in order in which they're received. So, throw them on the board right now. And I'll answer them in order in which they come in. But we're going to go through every single one of these as quick as we can. Bijan Robinson, let's get it out of the way. The elephant in the room. Hold on. That's all. I'm sorry about that. I had to get that out of the way. Bijan Robinson, for everybody in here, grab a pillow, scream at it, do what you got to do. In fact, hold on. That's it. I won't bang anymore. I'm sorry. One more yell. Arthur Smith, you piece of shit! You piece of shit! You piece of shit! This man, Bijan Robinson, is an absolute monster. But we'll never know. I don't even know if we'll ever know. I can't even say 2020. What if Arthur Smith doesn't get fired? What if he doesn't get fired? I don't wish bad upon anybody, but I'm almost ready to say I don't wish bad upon anybody but Arthur Smith. This is a man that is trying to on purpose destroy everybody's hopes and dreams. I really just smudged up my blue light blocking sunglasses and everything. This is a man that's trying to destroy because he can. Because people say, hey, Arthur Smith, why don't you play Bijan? Then he says, I'm not going to play him then. You want me to play Bijan? It's nothing to do with fantasy. It's, hey, someone told me I should do something. Watch me do the other thing. And the worst part is he's been either winning or they'll score a touchdown when he takes Bijan out and Algier will score or Ritter would run one in. It's an enabling process. When he does the thing he shouldn't do and he scores, Ritter runs the ball in instead of being 1st and 10 at the 11-yard line. Like chance to get a first down again, or even worse, 1st and goal at the 7-yard line. And you don't run the ball 3 times with arguably the best running back prospect to come out of college in the last 10 years, if not more. What the hell is wrong with you? What the hell is wrong with you? And then he scores. Ritter runs around, scrambles, gets in. This is previous weeks I'm talking about. Enables them. It enables the behavior. And then you have the brass upstairs. They don't care because he scored. Yeah, okay, he must know what he's doing. And that touchdown by Tyler Algier, yeah, he ran it hard. Let's give Algier his flowers for running in a tough score. But that enables Arthur Smith to say, we had success running Algier when we needed it. I mean, it didn't help that Bijan fumbled the ball. That was just added stress to my plate. But you want the Falcons to lose. I hate to say this, guys. I'm rooting for the Falcons to lose. I'm rooting for his team to be the worst team on Sunday, every single Sunday, until Arthur Smith's gone. I will never cheer for the Falcons to win a game until Arthur Smith is gone. And that's what's needed. It's what's needed. There's nothing really to say here. I know people are going to come in and gloat that I told you. Where have you been all year until right now, by the way? I told you. There's people in my comments. Smitty, I told you all offseason Bijan wasn't going to be any good. Yeah, you weren't here. No one was here. Someone may have said something earlier in the season, but don't pretend that this man wasn't bleeding talent. Don't pretend that it was even that easy to see coming. There are some, in hindsight, moments, for sure. Arthur Smith, frustrating guy, really an idiot. And there were some telling signs in retrospect. I admit that's on me. I'll take a lap all day long on this, but everybody loved him. It wasn't just me. Every analyst loved him. I'm taking a lap though, because I'm not responsible for any other analysts. I'm responsible for myself. And I'm going to take a lap right now. I didn't assess Arthur Smith properly. You know what I saw? I saw an offense that ran the ball so freaking well. I showed this graphic quite a bit, saying this is the #1 rushing attack in the National Football League. They ran the ball 559 times. They were 3rd in rushing yards. To me, it smelled like glory. And I have a process in place for trying to figure some of these cases, these curious cases in the future, and weigh out red flags differently than other red flags versus treating all red flags the same. I'll attack this in proper formation in 2024. I can guarantee you that. We're going to have something in place to help remedy and help protect and safeguard against things like this as best we can. But I'm being honest when I tell you it wasn't the easiest thing to see coming because of how well they ran the ball last year and how many times they did it. And when you take a player inside the top 10, like Bijan, you do assume that their plan is to use that player. So for everybody who wants to come in and just throw salt on the wound and act like they knew everything was going to unfold this way, get out of here with your Monday morning quarterbacking. Okay, your Sunday evening quarterbacking. Get out of here with it, because you didn't know, or you would have been here every day saying it. Okay, and maybe some of you did in passing say, I don't know about this Bijan Robinson situation. You probably said it because you said the Falcons sucked, not because Arthur Smith wasn't going to use him. So get it straight. That's not what you said. That's not what anybody said. Arthur Smith's going to just not run him on purpose and totally try and dismantle this team. I don't know what to say about Bijan. There'll probably be a lot of super chats and phone calls about it, and I get that. I don't know what to do about Bijan moving forward. I wish I had an answer here. I need to digest some more. I need to sleep on it. I need the dust to settle. Would I buy low? Probably. At what cost? I don't know. I don't know anymore, because I don't know if Arthur Smith is actually going to change a single thing this season. And I'm not wishing injury upon Tyler Algier. Please do not take this out of context. I'm merely telling you the pathway. The only path forward for Bijan to be clearly ahead, unless Arthur Smith changes his tune like that, I just don't know when or if that can happen, is if something, aliens abducted, maybe Tyler Algier, if you want to be more soft about it and say, okay, bedside manner, Smitty. But if he got injured or aliens abducted him and returned him safely after the season, nothing happened to him, that's when Bijan would potentially shine. But even then, would they do something? Would Arthur Smith run somebody else? Would Arthur Smith even get... I don't know. I don't know. But why in the hell, Arthur Smith, did you draft him? Why? You don't use him. Why? You look like an imbecile drafting an RB as high as you did, which I gave you credit for. You had balls of steel, I thought, in doing that. But then you don't play him. You look like a buffoon doing so. What is wrong with you? What is wrong with you? It's frustrating. Let's get on to some other stuff. Some of it will be negative, but not as negative as that. I can guarantee you that. Jalen Hurts completed 17 of 23, 207, 2 touchdowns in the Eagles' Week 9 win against the Cowboys, adding 10 rushes for 36 yards and a touchdown. 3 tutties for Hurts. He was an absolute monster. Not going to be able to buy him low. Here's a tiny buy low candidate. Just because I say tiny, because no one's going to sell him dirt cheap, but this is a struggling offense to a lot of people. And that's a fact. It's not like that's a absolute miscalculation. Look, Tua's been struggling. The Dolphins have been struggling. And it does appear when they have a tough opponent, they struggle a lot more than normal. Not saying they can't bounce back, not saying they can't be a team that at the end of it all is a big threat and they get it all together. Sometimes teams look bad for a string of games and they pull it all together in double-digit weeks and they start going on a tear. And people go, remember when this team was off kilter? So that can happen. But right now, the fact that the offense is off kilter, and 8 for 62 isn't the worst week ever, but it's not what Tyreek Hill owners expect. So Tyreek Hill owners are probably going to be a little bit scared in some respects. And if they're losing, they'll be tempted to throw them away for something that feels like it could be, making a paper tiger trade. Send them a bunch of beefed up looking performers and say, hey, come get this package. Here's this guy, and try and buy a little low. Try and downgrade into this owner into a wide receiver that's maybe around the 14, 15, 16 overall range if you're drafting today, by giving up pieces that are doing well. Quarterbacks always help if someone that has Tyreek Hill doesn't have a quarterback. We got Wheel Snipe Selly dropping. I think we got somebody dropping. Let me pull up the YouTube exclusive membership here. Content, because I think Wheel Snipe City dropped gifted memberships. I think at some point. Let me see if Wheel Snipe City dropped 5 gifted memberships and 10 gifted memberships. Wheel Snipe City, appreciate you to the freaking moon. If you guys got one, please thank Wheel Snipe City for dropping 15. No, I'm sorry. Check that. He dropped 20, 10, and 5. 35 gifted memberships from Wheel Snipe Selly, aka City. Appreciate you. Dropped another one. Appreciate you, Will Snipe. Appreciate you very, very much. Joshua Dobbs came out and it was a magnificent display of heart and grit. And my Cardinals got rid of this man, which even when a caller called in, I admit, I said, why would they get rid of their spare tire? Because everyone was like, maybe Dobbs is going to get traded. And it was a possibility, but I thought to myself logically, why would the Cardinals get rid of the player that has carried them all season? If Kyler ends up doing badly, this guy's not just okay, maybe they're trying to take a dive this year or whatever, but why not have the guy even for next year, take care of him, bring him into the part of this culture. He's been on 4 or 5 teams in the last year, calendar year. So like, make him feel at home. He'll be loyal in return, and just make him feel a part of this team and have a really strong backup plan if Kyler ends up faltering, getting re-injured. Sometimes you tear the other ACL, just like I said that. And I don't want to get too much into Cam Akers because I don't want to sound negative at all about his situation, but just like I said over and over all offseason, when you tear your Achilles, you never return to form, and usually you'll tear your other Achilles if you're trying to get to form when your body won't let you get to form. As an RB, quarterbacks are different. Basketball players, look at Kevin Durant, that's different. For running backs, tearing your Achilles is a death sentence to your fantasy football or NFL running back season. You're never going to be a top 10 running back ever again. It's running back. Running back is the key word. Achilles tendon, not ACL. Not Adrian Peterson, not Breece Hall. Those are ACLs, guys. That's in your knee. The Achilles is in your heel, right below your calf, where your calf turns into your Achilles. And usually when you tear one and you're trying to get back to form as an RB, you're very subject to tearing the other one. It's called compensation. We talked about it all offseason long. Dobbs, I don't know why I got on that. I think I got on, Kyler. So Kyler Murray's a risk. I don't know why the Cardinals got rid of Joshua Dobbs, but Joshua Dobbs goes over to Minnesota. The rookie goes in, gets hurt right away. Dobbs comes in, gets sacked, safety right away, looks bleak. Everyone's like, oh my God, this is going to be awful. Safety right away. What does Dobbs do? Dobbs throws 20 of 30, 158, 2 touchdowns, and rushes for 66 yards and a touchdown. 3-touchdown game. There are some elite quarterbacks that didn't even come close to these numbers in week number 9. So it's pathetic that other quarterbacks can't get there. And this guy can change teams, probably not even know the first and last name of every player on his line, let alone his team, and goes out and delivers this gritty performance right here. Joshua Dobbs. What does this mean? Let's get to the meat and potatoes of this. What does this mean for JJ? What does this mean for Addison? What does this mean for Madison, who's now the focal point of that rushing attack? What does this mean for Hawkinson? Well, I don't know. I do know it's good. It's better than it could have been. And it certainly, if this team continues to win, that there's a higher likelihood that JJ comes back right on time. If they were to lose, there'd be more of a reason to hold him back. JJ's going to be motivated. The locker room's motivated. The coaching staff's motivated. This team's motivated. And they're going to keep trying. And we've seen guys rise up before and become absolute monsters, bigger than anybody ever expected. Usually, they're a little more unknown and not journeymen, wandering around the league like Joshua Dobbs. But who the hell knows how far this thing can go? And so, for that reason, if today had gone differently, if Dobbs didn't look good at all, if Dobbs was garbage, and yes, we still have to see him play against a different team and a different defense and a different situation. Granted, okay, I'm not trying to get ahead of myself at all. I'm just saying we got to tie this back to JJ and down to Addison. There's a chance that this offense moves the ball enough that they're both really good, but I don't know how I feel about JJ being anywhere remotely close to where he was. Do I think he can be a top 12 overall player? I think it's possible, but I don't know if JJ and Addison can both be, because Kirk Cousins threw a ton. And as you see here, And granted, he'll get better, but granted, he won't always play the Falcons. And granted, all this stuff is they're moving parts everywhere. But 158 yards, Kirk Cousins is the kind of guy who can throw for 400. Not that he couldn't on a rare occasion or anything, but this is more of a crafty scat quarterback. He's like a scat back, but at the quarterback position, he's just gritty and he's elusive and he is a leader. He is a leader, straight up a leader. I just don't know what the support for JJ and Addison is going to be. And even though Addison was targeted a lot and they were trying to shut Addison down, of course, Addison didn't deliver under a very good outing for Joshua Dobbs. So there is a lot of concern still. And if I had JJ, I might be more inclined, even though I'm so excited about this guy, and I don't want anybody to think I'm not. I'd be more inclined to use this to try and get rid of JJ for something that can help me now because JJ's still not quite ready to come back. So there's that. But Joshua Dobbs to the freaking moon. I mean, what a phenomenal effort and what an amazing story. Let's get through some of these things quicker. Hunter Henry, 4 for 7, 39 yards at a touchdown. If you need a tight end, not a bad guy to grab who probably hit waivers. Season gets worse. Daniel Jones, torn ACL. We'll have more information tomorrow, but you can pretty much tell when a player has got a torn Achilles and a torn ACL on the spot within seconds. Within minutes, but within seconds if you were to apply. Wheel Snipe City with another 50 gifted memberships, you absolute menace. You're a menace, Wheel Snipe City. Please thank your local Wheel Snipe City if you get a membership from them right now. They're giving out at random, and you got to turn on in your YouTube settings. You got to turn on accept gifted memberships. If you're wondering why you don't get them, you got to turn it on. So you might want to turn it on before he unleashes another 20 or 40 and you don't get one. I would say. Where was I going? I think I was talking about somebody. Oh, we'll move on to this if I remember it. Patrick Mahomes, 20 of 30, 185, 2 touchdowns in a Week 9 win against the Dolphins. He's still very much underperforming to the standards of a Mahomes owner. So I still would recommend everybody try to potentially buy low if you can, because even though he started off hot, his first half felt like his entire game was going to be pretty damn solid. 4 touchdown day on the way, 300 yards passing at least, or 300 total yards for him and 4 tutties, and it didn't go that way. And so I think there's a tremendous opportunity to buy Mahomes low, especially if you had like a quarterback pop off that maybe normally doesn't, or you just that owner that has Mahomes has Stroud, and they've had Stroud the whole year. Like, you got to look at each individual situation, but Mahomes is vulnerable. Noah Brown went nuts, but I would not expect Noah Brown to continue to do this well, but he might be like, I don't know what valuation to put on, but like maybe he's like wide receiver 4 or 5 material for you. And what that would mean is if you played a 2 running back, 3 wide receivers, and 2 flexes, he could be, especially with bye weeks, one of the guys you throw in at the end of your bench in those type of formats. But he's not going to get 153 and a touchdown every week. But he looks pretty good. Like he was hungry. He was very involved. This is another negative one. Before everybody goes off the rocker, and I'm okay with benching him until further notice, because he got injured, hurt his back, hurt his chest, I don't know if he hurt his knee as well. Like, there's 3 injuries that happened on one play when he hit the ground. So injury proneness is through the roof with this guy. I'm so pissed off about this one because the talent is there. He had another touchdown grab in the beginning of the game that he didn't pull in. It wasn't even necessarily his fault. It was contested. It was thrown behind him, but it was another touchdown opportunity. It was thrown right into congestion in the end zone. He would have had another score. It would have been 50 and a touchdown right there early on in the game. But it is what it is. At this point, it is what it is. I'm not saying cut him. Don't cut him. If anybody drops him, pick him up. But you want to bench him. It depends on your options. But he did catch 1 pass for 37 yards and got injured. But I think he's okay. He looked fine. He went and got checked out. But I think he'll probably be okay. But it'll probably be one of those, like, he's questionable, but he'll play type of situations. But it is what it is on some of these guys. We're accepting patterns that just aren't going away. And it is what it is. Tyler Algier, 39 yards and a touchdown. Hard to trust because guess what? His coach is Arthur Smith. I don't care how much he's hogging away. I don't know that he's somebody I want in my lineup, but he certainly could be with bye weeks and injuries. It depends. Rashad White played very well in this game. 20 totes of the rock, 73 yards, 2 tutties, 4 receptions for 46 yards. Hard to know if this will continue, but he ran really well and they utilized him very well. I very much like him as a locked-in flex play right now until we see something drop off. Gus Edwards needs to be in your running back 2, locked and loaded spot. Even with only 5 rushes, they use him in the goal line. He's very productive. They should have ran him more. 5 rushes was crazy, but he had 52 yards and 2 tutties. He is a bona fide, at least low-end running back 2, maybe higher. DK Metcalf, 1 catch for 50 yards. Very disappointing. The whole Seahawks roster was completely disappointing, down to Kenneth Walker. Mike Thomas did not catch his 1 lone target. There you go, Garrett. Garrett's been waiting for that one all day. This one right here, Jordan Addison, piggybacking off the other game, 5 of 7, 51 yards, kind of locked down, but did get targeted, but just wasn't seeing any wiggle room, and I just don't know what to expect for him. Alvin Kamara is supposed to be the number 1 running back this week across the board. The industry-wide. It wasn't just me, wasn't just Bob, wasn't just Steve from accounting or Mary from repo. Everyone felt like, even Underdog Fantasy's ADP felt like this is the top running back for week number 9. 9 times 26 yards. Week 9 win over the Bears, catching 4 or 5 targets for 44 yards. That was it. Very bland week. Like I said, this entire week was bland. If anybody's looking at their team and going, wow, my team did very bad, I'm going to cry over spilled milk. First of all, I appreciate you. I'm here for you. I'm here to listen to you. I don't want you to think you can't feel that way. But if you do feel that way, and a lot of you probably do, take a look at your league. Everybody struggled except for 1 or 2 teams that had the right perfect storm of goodness just lined up, like Stroud and a couple guys that just happened to pop off. People crawled to the finish. Wheel Snipe City with another 20 gifted memberships. This guy's an absolute monster. He's out of control right now. Wheel Snipe City to the moon. Everybody's crawling to the finish right now. This is a horrible week. Kamara. I've listed off player after player. Tyreek, Kamara, Cooper Kupp. There's such a bad week. Tua, Jamar Chase. There's so many players that busted this week. It's not just you. It's not anybody. But it's everybody. It's everybody collectively. The fantasy world was bland this week. It was horrible. Luke Musgrave, 3 of 4, 51 yards and a tutty. He's a great option if he's available on waivers and you're struggling at tight end. Wheel Snipe City gifted another 1 memberships. Appreciate you, my guy. Wheel Snipe is just going crazy. Appreciate that, man. Jahan Dotson might be back. He might be back. I mean, Jahan Dotson might be back. 4 of 8, 69, and a touchdown. Looking good. 2 touchdowns in a row. Sam Howell's, churning out the production, and when he's back on point, this man's been by his side. So, wide receiver 3 go forward probably until further notice. Chris Olave, he did a little bit of what we wanted him to do. 46 yards, targeted 8 times, 8 solid. He gets targeted a ton. 6 receptions for 46 and a touchdown. I mean, that was a good day. Chris Olave had a day. Let's send him to the moon. Maybe not Saturn, but he was definitely a good buy low, and I think we're going to continue to see him thrive. Devontae Adams did not do what we had hoped walking into this game, but I am not concerned because everything we thought would happen, at least for the Raiders, in terms of their vibe, getting behind their coach, pulling out a win, looking fantastic. 10 gifted memberships by Wheel Snipe City. 10 more gifted memberships. Thank you, pal. Appreciate you, Wheel Snipe. You're an absolute monster. Everything kind of fell into place other than even O'Connell. He didn't score any passing touchdowns, but he was effective, didn't make any mistakes. They love O'Connell, and he just kind of helped them win. Jacobs ran 2 touchdowns, and we'll get to him in a minute. Jacobs is looking solid right now, but I think this is one more week. It's just a little stutter until he has his explosion week, and I think this gives everybody another opportunity to buy low on Devontae Adams and go get your boy. Hit that thumb up button on your way in the door. We got 613 people in here and only 105 thumbs up, so punch that thumb up button. Amari Cooper had a day. Whenever Watson's there, he has a day. So if Watson's playing, you got to play Cooper. He's a wide receiver 2. Some would say even low end wide receiver 1, but he's at least a wide receiver 2. in fantasy whenever Watson's in the lineup. 5 of 5, 139, and a tutty against the Cardinals, and he'll continue to do that as long as Watson's on the field. Puka Nacua had a bad day. There was a lot of fear that this could happen without Stafford in there, and this is why I say if Stafford goes down, it's game over. And some people didn't like that terminology, and I still think he's worth buying. It depends on the risk level you're looking for in fantasy. It depends on what happens. What do you look like? What's your team look like? What's the situation look like for you? How likely are you to win your league if you don't make any moves at all? Do you need a splash? Do you need a home run? Do you need something in order to win your league? I'm trying to find my Cooper Kupp graphic somewhere so I can put these guys up at the same time. Where's Cooper Kupp when you need him? He's somewhere around here. I'll try and find him. When I pull him up, we'll reference him in a second. Where's Cooper Kupp? I don't even know if I have him on here. I think I do. I'll look for it in a second. But Puka Nacua, 32 yards. Again, if Stafford goes down, it's game over. There's no Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua. That's for sure. That's rule number one. No Puka and Kupp. There might be one, and they might rotate, but there will no longer be two. Reebok, 3-month membership, 2 more weeks. Scott Fishbowl, 13 regular season, Mexican Coke bet. Appreciate you, Reebok. Reebok to the moon. I feel like Puka Nacua is just tough to value right now. But here's the good news: Stafford's not out for the season. You know what I mean? Like, it would be one thing if he was out for the season, but I think everyone's going to look at this and say, okay, Stafford's hurt. And in their mind, they're convincing themselves that we know something definitive. He's got a strained UCL. He doesn't have a torn UCL. They've got a bye week coming up. So if he was out for the year, I would say run away from Puka and Cooper Kupp. Or if I had an instinct or an inclination that he was going to tear his UCL or he's going to be out 4 or 5 weeks and no one knows yet, I'd be telling you to run from Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua. But I think this is just a stark reminder to people that if Stafford goes down, it's game over. Okay? But he's not down, and his owners are freaking out, and it's time to maybe take a gamble on Puka and Kupp, because this is now 3 bad games in a row for Cooper Kupp. So people are fearing Cooper Kupp's dropped off, number one. Number two, people are thinking Puka Nacua may not survive this environment anymore, and what's in store for Stafford. And you have the bye week, which is a kick to the nads to whoever owns Puka and Cooper Kupp. Very, very good buy low opportunities. We'll talk about those guys later in the week, but I just wanted to reference that. Cam Akers, torn Achilles again. Prayers up to him. No need for any negativity on Cam Akers' situation. And talking about Achilles, we'll address that another time. Prayers up is all we need to say right now. For a speedy recovery, but I do have to address something from a fantasy perspective. He's done. He's not coming back. Name one running back that's ever returned to top 10 running back form after an Achilles tear. Running back, no one ever. Name a running back that's ever come back from double Achilles tears in each leg. That definitely is. There's no one that's even done that. Period. Let alone top 10. So he's done. He's never going to get the opportunity to even, showcase that he is healthy if he does come back from it. Tony Pollard, 12 rushes for 51 yards in a Week 9 loss against the Eagles. 3 catches for 12. This is a very bleak output, but again, amongst a bunch of bleak outputs, so I don't hold any more negativity, directed toward Pollard than I do Chase, than I do Kupp, than I do Tyreek Hill, than I do all other players that struggled this week. And I'm still buying low, and we'll have more on that. But there is some risk level to Tony Pollard, and we'll talk about that in the buy low segment or the buy low video this week. Hollywood Brown, 4 of 8 for 24. That was an awful week for Hollywood Brown owners. That was just a very, very brutal start. There's a lot of brutal starts. Lamar Jackson, another one. 187 yards. 60 yards rushing. That's it. That's essentially like a rushing touchdown. 60 yards rushing, 187 and 1. He had a bad game. He didn't have a touchdown. I'm just saying the rushing yards can feel like that. He had a horrible game. I would have won 1,000 on my 5-pick underdog pick'em had he thrown a touchdown pass. It was a frustrating day overall, but buy low on any quarterback that feels top 5 still that had a bad game. Everyone had a bad game, but a very small handful of players. And congrats to anybody that had him. Here's a guy that had a good day, 55 yards and 2 tutties, Cole Kmet. And you know, if you got Fields, just know that, you know, he's going to get his job back, that's for sure. Nico Collins, 3 of 5, 54 yards and a touchdown. Nico was good. He was good. He wasn't as good as Tank Dell, though, but he was good. He looked like he was going to do better than Tank Dell because he scored the first touchdown, and it's like, oh, my God, where's Tank Dell? Well, guess what? Tank Dell to the moon. Dallas Goedert left the Eagles' Week 9 game against the Cowboys with an arm injury. We'll keep you posted on that. That's not good. That sucks. This plane sucks. So much bad this week. Dak Prescott, 374 and 3 touchdowns in Week 9. That was a good day for Dak. That's definitely a nice little outing. This right here, Tua Tagovailoa, bad week. Him and Lamar, very good buy lows right now. 193 and a touchdown. People are going to sell Tua pretty cheaply right now. If you're in need of a quarterback, Tua's available. Especially if someone had Tua and Stroud, they're going to get rid of Tua in a millisecond. Travis Kelce, 3 of 4, 14 yards. The string of bad games continues. Chase, Kelce, Tyreek Hill, Tony Pollard, Bijan Robinson, name Devontae Adams, name Puka Nacua, Cooper Kupp, name after name. Very, very bad fantasy day in general. So again, calm down if you think it's you or your team. It's everyone's team for the most part. Raheem Mostert, 12 times he ran the ball, 85 yards and a touchdown. He had a nice little afternoon. Mostert to the moon, but we are waiting Devon Achane, who is now going to go on his bye week. He's not going to miss another game. He's going to come off IR, and he's going to go into the bye week, get prepared, and come back. It's going to be Devon Achane season right after this Week 10 bye week. He's back. TJ Hawkinson, 7 of 12 for 70 yards in the Vikings Week 9 win against the Falcons. He did good. 7 for 70. That's not bad. 14 points roughly in most scoring formats, and that's not bad. But you know, you certainly feel like he's going to be capped a little bit. Here's Jacobs. 26 times he ran the ball for 98 yards and 2 touchdowns. He will continue to benefit from a better quarterback. So that's great news if you have Jacobs. This one right here is Adam Thielen, another guy that's been scoring like crazy. Did very, very bland. 29 yards, no touchdowns, 5 receptions was solid, but 29 yards sucks. You know, everybody had a bad week. Everybody had a bad week. Pacheco, 16 carries for 66 yards. You know, here's Cooper Kupp. Cooper Kupp, 2 catches for 48 yards. 2 catches for 48 yards. Buy low, okay, because Stafford's not out for the year. Everyone's just imagining it, you know, because they're scared about it. But he's going on a bye week. He should heal up. He's a tough guy, but he's a big injury risk. If Cooper Kupp loses Stafford, he will cease to exist as we know it. Saquon Barkley, this guy cannot stay healthy. He came back into the game after missing some time. He was like coughing, and I don't know if he got hit in the chest or whatever the hell it was. Left the game, was coughing, was having trouble like breathing. Went back into the game, played football, played good. He always looks good when he's running, but he can't stay on the field. It's just, if it's not one thing, it's another. If it's not his elbow, it's his ankle or something else. It'll be very interesting to see where he lands in 2024 in the offseason. I can't wait to cover it, but I do wonder. He wants to stay in New York, which is such a stupid move if he does actually want to stay there. Maybe he's trying to be nice and just say that now and then wait for the offseason to come. He's going to chase the bag. We all know that. People say, oh, I want to stay in New York forever. I want to be a Giant forever. And then literally a month later, they're like, I'm going to go test the market, you know, and do what's right for me. And that's what we want to hear, to be honest with you. I don't want Barkley in New York anymore. It's not a good place for him. It once was, but it's not anymore. It's not a place where it's one of those situations where people are like, look, he goes somewhere else, he won't get the volume. He's not getting the right volume in New York, and he won't because they don't have a signal caller. This is another guy that can't stay healthy. If you've got him, I don't know that you can even sell high. You might have to do some crafty trade, but Waddle, 3 receptions, 42 yards. Just got banged up early on, didn't return for a little while, came back, returned, did play, but he's an injury-prone guy. Stevenson had a breakaway touchdown. Much of this came on one run. So Stevenson rushed 9 times for 87 yards, and the touchdown was a long touchdown scamper. And he pulled in 4 receptions for 42 yards. Not saying I'd sell him high necessarily if you didn't have an RB and you're just trying to get rid of him, but I would certainly explore using his big game. Devontae Smith, 3 of 3, 51 and a touch. Kind of like last week, he scored. We were excited. Wasn't quite, I guess actually last week I think he had 90 yards, something like that. He had a good week last week. I wanted him to have 2 touchdowns last week, I think is why I was, in my mind, disappointed last week. But 51 yards and a tutty is good. He had a good day. He continues to do well. And more importantly, the offense is doing well. They're scoring points. They're such an electric offense. And honestly, it's good that their defense is a little vulnerable because it adds to the ability and need to score late in games. We can sit here and act like we wanted the Eagles to dominate all game long, but then what do? Run the ball in the third and fourth quarter? We want them kind of throwing the ball in the third and fourth quarter. So it's working perfect for fantasy. Howell, 29 of 45 passing, 325 and 1 touchdown and 1 INT. He continues to move the ball well enough. They're not benching him or anything like that. And he's good for Dotson, and Dotson's good for him. Taysom Hill continues. I loved all the Taysom Hill questions we had this week. And in some cases, it was like, start Taysom Hill in your flex over that wide receiver. He continues to do it. 11 rushes for 52 yards in the Week 9 win over the Bears, added 4 catches for 13 yards and a touchdown, and completed his only passing attempt for 3 yards for a touchdown. You heard me. He scored 2 more touchdowns in this game. Taysom Hill is just a utility tool of this offense, and he continues to do Taysom Hill things. Mark Andrews caught 9 of 10 for 80. Didn't get a touchdown. I needed him to get a touchdown on a bunch of my underdog stuff. It was very disappointing. Lamar just crapped the bed. This guy crapped the bed too, but it wasn't really his fault. It was, he didn't do well when he was given his 9 carries, but this offense struggled the entire game. And 9 carries for 16 yards. This is what I said earlier. I still very much am pro Walker. I continue to tell people to hold him versus sell him low. But this is what I said a few weeks back, that if he doesn't get the touchdowns, there's concern that the volume is good enough and solid enough to help him continue to thrive. So that is and has been the one concern for Kenneth Walker, is if they've been leaning on him, he's been getting the touchdowns, the tutties have been there. But if you take away all the touchdowns, his production wasn't sound enough all year to support it. But it's like, will the touchdowns be there? Will they solve this? First of all, you can't sell him low. Second of all, I feel like you can't even sell him medium rare, because he's coming off 2 games really where people are going to be scared about him. So anybody that says, I see a couple comments, sell Kenneth Walker now, you can't. You can get creative maybe and do some 2-for-2 deal, but I'd rather hold him versus sell him low. He's got a tough schedule coming up, but the Niners still have to prove they're a tough team on defense, because he faces the Niners in, I believe, 2 of the next 3 weeks, I think, are against the 49ers. Now, they just added to their arsenal and defensive weaponry. We'll see how they jive and see what happens coming off the bye week. But certainly a concern. This is a concern right now. Panic chamber material. Trey says down 33.38. Garrett Wilson, Herbert left. Let's get it. Appreciate you, Trey. Thank you, Will Snipe City, for dropping another 50 gifted memberships and a 50 watt on screen. I'm going to get to your $50 hauler as soon as the news is over. But Wheel Snipe Sully, a.k.a. City, coming in with just massive gifted membership wattage all over he's just dropping them all over the screen. Kenneth Walker, he's going to be in the Panic Chamber if we do a Panic Chamber episode, when we need to do one this week. He's going to be in it. The question will be, how scared are we? Jackson Smith and Jigba continues to do Jackson Smith and Jigba things. 6 of 7, 6 receptions, 63 yards. Definitely felt like he had a good day. But what the problem is, Geno Smith, he's starting to write back, and it's not sounding pretty. It's just not a good letter that he's writing back with. A.J. Brown, 7 of 9 for 66 and a touchdown, continues to thrive, even in a tough defensive matchup against the Dallas Cowboys. This guy has 7 receptions for 66 yards and a touchdown. A.J. Brown's a freaking monster, and he's going to continue to be a monster all season long. We're almost done with the news. Aaron Jones did as promised by LaFleur and the Packers staff, going to get the work. 20 carries, 73 yards, and a touchdown in the Packers Week 9 win over the Rams. Now, Jordan Love did salvage his day. He had like 200 and something yards and a tutty, and it was a decent day at the end of the day. It was not what we wanted, but at least they won the game, and he saved his job for at least another couple weeks. I mean, winning the game is going to do that. Jonathan Taylor, 18 totes for 47. Also caught 5 of 5 for 22 and a touchdown. He got in the end zone. It looks like the divide is, flipped in the direction of Taylor heavily. I want to say it was like 40-something snaps to 20-something snaps. And so there is definitely JT's backfield, but we've seen it flip back. So I would say be cautious to cut Moss. And if Moss gets cut and you own Taylor, pick him up and cuff him. But it does feel like Taylor's backfield, it's now his backfield. But you never know the way these things flip back and forth. Mike Evans should have had a touchdown on top of his 87 yards. So he would have had well over 100 and a touch. That touchdown was called back. 4 or 5, 87 yards, decent day. Again, kind of a quietly worse day than we would have wanted if he pulled that touchdown in. Josh Downs, wide receiver, came in with a knee injury, went out with a knee injury. So his status for next week is tough next contest is tough to know. I'd plan on being without him until you have some good word. Jerome Ford ran the ball 20 times. That's fantastic. He seems to have taken control of the backfield for 44 yards. Yardage wasn't great, but he does feel like he has command of it. 5 receptions for 33. He runs really hard. He runs really, really hard. Appreciate all of you. Super chats are now in play. Young with the first super chat of the day. Hit that thumb up button on your way in the door. Young, let's go. First super chat always gets a standing O. Started Stroud, Dell, and Kincaid. Yeah, buddy, we up, says Young. Young, fantastic job. I know you were losing on a losing streak, so happy for you. Not disastrous for me, Stroud, and 163. Excellent job, Owen. Yeah, but like I said, anybody had the perfect storm of Stroud and a couple players, you're going to have a good week. Waited out on Moore and Godwin for Achane trade. The same person sent me Chase for Achane. Bet. Make sure you all smash the like button. I don't know. You're saying which side you like, because honestly, Achane could be the better. I mean, I'm not saying that Chase isn't better than Achane or Achane isn't better than Chase, but I wouldn't be so quick to assume one of those sides beats the other side. I think Achane's going to be a freaking top 5 running back. I'm a little worried about if Chase was how healthy is he? He went back into the game, but sometimes that happens and a player plays on an injury and he goes questionable the next week and he doesn't play. So I'm just a little hesitant right now to say that, Chase smashes over Achane. I really think if we drafted today for week number 10 through 17 only, I'd take Achane in the top 7 overall. Kenneth Walker, Pollard are killing me and I might still win, says Andre. Appreciate you with the super chat. Wheel Snipe City with the $2 hauler. Appreciate you, broski. You've been dropping wattage all over all night long. Arthur Smith equals 2023. Hackett, send him to planet Uranus. Absolutely. I got to create a little image of him and put him on planet Uranus. You're absolutely right, TM. We're going to do that as soon as please remind me if I don't do it in the next couple days. Game 7 says sell high on Ramondre or Mostert. I would explore both because Achane's coming back, so I would definitely explore both. Especially, well, I wouldn't say especially. I'd say both of them for sure. I wouldn't get rid of them for dirt cheap, but I would certainly sell them if the price is right. I also like to keep Mostert if you have Achane though. Nakua for Mostert and JSN probably not enough. Probably not enough because remember, Achane's coming back. They're going on a bye week and Achane's back, so things could change. Have Adams, Allen. Yeah, I'm not doing that, G-Dog. I do like both sides, but I'm not doing that. $20 hauler from Wheel Snipe.
Alert. Super chat alert. Alert. Super chat alert.
Cheers, Will Snipe. Appreciate you, pal. To the moon. This man goes. B-Man. Let's send him to Saturn. Wheel Snipe going to Saturn.
To Saturn.
Send that man to Saturn. He's an absolute monster. B-Men, $5 hauler. Fields and Gibbs for Cooper Kupp. Or Fields and Gibbs, London for Kupp and B-Rob. I'll be honest. I mean, QBs would be T-Law, Howell. I don't know if your QBs feel strong enough for that, and I feel like Gibbs, we're underselling Gibbs a little bit. Like Cooper Kupp, we don't fully know what's up with him. I would buy him low, but I don't know if this is low. I think Fields is going to come back to his job. I'd probably rather keep the Gibbs Fields side, but chat, does the chat disagree? Please vote on this one for B-Men, please. Megas, appreciate you. Smitty, I need 18.8 from Brees tomorrow to win. Do you think it's doable? Let's ask him.
Get Brees.
He says it's possible. It's certainly possible. It depends on your scoring, but you're going to need like a 2 touchdown or like 150 total yards and a tutty, which is certainly possible. Arthur Smith's dad founded FedEx, so he'll be fine. Get him out of here. Did he really? Jeez. You know, I don't know. I don't know what in the hell is the problem with this guy. I'm so upset and irate. I want to create a PSA announcement. Maybe I'll just clip the beginning of this video and put it out there and see if we can get a movement going to get him fired. $5 hauler from Llama. Hey Smitty, PPR, should I drop either C. Watson, Spears for Quentin Johnson? I have good depth, for example, Brees, Eckler. I would say, bro, I'd probably say, I don't think so. I don't know what he's going to do tomorrow, and that could change my mind, certainly, but I'm not dropping Watson yet. I understand everybody wants to bench him, and that's fine, but I'm not going to cut him, and Spears still has that quiet, like, win a league potential. I would say, like, you're not crazy. If you're going to drop one, maybe you drop Spears because, I don't know, because he's I don't know, because he's not in the spotlight right now. You know what I mean? Who dat Lolo, appreciate you. $5 hauler in one league. Drafted Bijan with the first pick, Garrett Wilson with the second, and been throwing up my man, I'm sorry, bro. Fire Arthur Smith for F's sake. Appreciate you, pal, and I'm sorry about the direction of your team right now. We're here for you, and we're going to do a lot of underdog drafts for anybody that feels like they got to pack it in. That happens, as you get further into weeks. There are only so many teams that are going to make the playoffs. Sometimes you have a bad week in one, or a bad league in one league. That's why I do advise you do multiple leagues, because you could have a bust of a season. Injuries could strike. $20 hauler from Hassan.
Alert. Super chat alert.
Hassan, appreciate you, my guy. Appreciate you very, very much for everything that you drop in this chat. You are the man, the myth, the legend. We got 700 people in here and only 160 thumbs up. What is wrong with that? 10 team gonna be 4-5 non-PPR. QBs are Levis, Murray, JJ, Olave, Amon-Ra, Kirk, Godwin, Rice, K9, Aaron Jones, Spears, Kincaid, Gibbs. I like it. Lost 5 straight. Kyler almost back, and Aaron Jones is back, and he moves. So, explore JJ, trading JJ. Achan's the one I want most. I'm buying Cooper Kupp. Would I trade JJ for Kupp and something? Yeah. Would I trade him for Kupp straight up? Probably not, because fair market value probably will command more. I don't know. I don't know that there's much else to move quite yet. Olave's just getting going. St. Brown's fantastic. K9, I mean, you could try and shop K9 with, let's say, a Christian Kirk or Godwin, or K9 and maybe a very running back needy team that has a JT might give you JT and a wide receiver for K9, and you throw in an Aaron Jones and get some sort of amazing wide receiver along with the running back that you get, like JT, and then you roll with JT and Gibbs, and you go light at your running back position, but feel good about it. Like, you could do some sort of creative 2-for-2, but I'd probably say, for the most part, I like your team. I'd probably let it ride. You're 4-5. You're waiting on JJ to come back. I sell JJ, or I'll probably hold for another week, Hassan, unless your trade deadline's this week, but I would say try and trade JJ. But you got to make the right move. $5 hauler from Wheel Snipe City. Appreciate you very much. Wheel Snipe City with a $50 wad.
Alert. Super chat alert.
Dude, it's a straight up menace tonight. Wheel Snipe City to the freaking moon, bro. Skyward. Wheel Snipe City to Saturn.
to Saturn.
This guy's a unicorn.
He is a unicorn.
Better be careful, Will Snipe City. You're getting awfully close to dropping the highest super chat of the year in a single live stream, which is Garrett. Garrett owns that with 600. Not saying to drop it. I'm just saying if you get it, you get your own emoji. I'll put your avatar in one of the emojis that everybody uses. You know, when you go to the Burrow emoji, and your avatar will be in there, and everybody can drop a Will Snipe City logo. I'm just saying, it's available if you pass Garrett 600. Won by 0.26 because of Burrow, who took 2 knees. 0.6. Oh, that sucks, Skyward. That is brutal. I hate that when that happens. That is so brutal, bro. It's crazy. What's Wheel Snipe? I mean, we can try and get his gifted memberships collected with his super chats to get to that number too, potentially. Trade Laporta for Kirk. What else? No, I'm keeping Laporta. I wouldn't trade Laporta for Kirk. I feel like coming off the bye week, I think Laporta's got a lot of value. Kirk doesn't feel like somebody, you could go after a freaking Deebo Samuel for Laporta. You could go after a Cooper Kupp right now or a Puka for Laporta and maybe something small. Do you think Walker will bounce back at all? As I mentioned a minute ago, I'm sure you were waiting to hear me talk about that, and I did already, so you probably got some of it right. I would just say I don't know. This was the one concern I voiced weeks ago when I said maybe trade him for Eckler. You guys remember that video? And it didn't get received well. I'm also very much in favor of holding him versus selling him low. I've said that all week. I love Walker. I think Walker's a fantastic player, and I wouldn't knee-jerk react. But this is what I said weeks ago when I said that the reason I wanted Eckler for Walker in that one trade, that one specific trade to target, was because if he did not get the nod for touchdowns or get the touchdown opportunities, he may not produce in games where they don't run the ball a lot. Like, that's the one concern for Walker. So it's not that Walker's a concern, it's his volume a concern, and those are one and the same. And the answer is he's going to be in the panic chamber for sure. But we don't know what in the hell it looks like, to be honest with you. Do you think Walker will bounce back? We'll get to that in the panic chamber episode, Matt. I appreciate you for dropping that. And we're definitely concerned, but I would not freak out. I have Breece down by 9. The other guy has Keenan Allen. Do you think we could pull up the dub? I think maybe it's going to be tough. It's going to be close. But remember, this is why you played this game in the first place, bro. Somebody came to you one time and said, hey, you want to do this competitive thing where it's a nail biter? And you're like, yeah, and you had fun the first time. Oh, my God, I could win in this game. Now we all kind of forget. We just want to win by 100. We don't want it to be close. And just relish in this like fun little race, bro. I'd rather be up by 9 with a player left when they're two very close players. So I will say he probably has the advantage, but Racing Boy, I'll be rooting for you. You know I will be. And if anybody can pull it off for us, for you, it will be the man that they call Breece Hall, who is freaking 8 feet tall, my guy.
Breece Hall is 8 foot tall. He will always answer the mother freaking call. Don't let him fall. In the third, don't stall. Just give Batman the freaking football.
He's Breece. He's Breece.
He does a whole of a job. A whole of a job. A whole of a job.
Breece Hall, please report to the moon.
He does a jale bayot.
Yeah, and Rush, you are being a little negative, bro. If you see another gift, well, then you know what? You don't have to necessarily hang out for it, Rush. I know you continue to say no more gifts, enough. This is supporting the channel that you love to watch, and without the support, the channel ceases to exist. Okay, so kind of relax. And Travis is just doing his job. Okay, that's all Travis is doing. So, pipe down a little bit, pal, please. All right, Ken, appreciate you. Smitty, done with Bijan. Would you trade him for Kyren straight up? Honestly, I hate to say this, but why not? Could it bite you? Sure. Will you be that upset at yourself? No, because you had every reason to believe that it might not turn around. So I would say if you can get Kyren and something, we'll have some packages that we'll go after Kyren and something. I try and get a little something more, but honestly, Kyren coming back, I don't mind that at all. But it could bite you for sure. I don't know that I'd do it in every league. I own Bijan in a lot of leagues, so I will try it in 1 or 2 leagues, but I'm certainly not. Like, would I get rid of every single share I have of him? No, I would not. I would not. Would I get rid of some of them? Absolutely. Abso-freaking-lutely. Trade Bijan and Tua and Lockett for JT and, JT and Dotson. Trade Bijan and Tua for Lockett and Lockett for JT and Dotson. I'd probably take JT and Dotson, assuming you're good at quarterback. Thank you. Appreciate you, Whale. Assuming you're good at quarterback, I would definitely take JT, I think, at this moment in time. It sucks, but it is what it is. But I wouldn't give up Tua and then start a borderline, like low end, almost QB2. Had the CJ Stroud Schultz stack today. Also got a trade offer for JJ for my Achane. I'd rather have Achane. As I said a couple times in this show, I'm trading JJ for Achane still if you've got him, especially if you need to move. Kamara, Pollard, Hunt, you're going to be fine. Your wide receivers are St. Brown. I don't know that like Addison or Davis really proved that you've got to put them in over Watson anyway. So like you have a grouping there of concerned players, but like I'm not going after JJ using Achane personally. But I like St. Brown. I think Gabe Davis bounces back and Addison's good enough. I'm not too concerned about this team. You got a really good squad. Keep Achane, bro. Like you held on to him this long. 1-7, scored 93-103. Comes down to Garrett Wilson versus Eckler. Can Garrett Wilson do a win for me? Maybe. I'd probably bet on Eckler, but I'll be rooting for you for sure. If you want my honest answer, I'm just telling you, like Eckler, I think has a day. But hey, man, Garrett Wilson could show up and be an absolute monster. Smitty, sorry I didn't have the money. Just wondering, would you trade Waddle for Ridley? I would probably rather have Ridley. Thank you. Appreciate you, Christopher. Dell is him. Burrow is him. Dak is him. Am I wrong? I don't detect any lies.
To the moon.
I don't know if Dak's him, but you know what I'm saying. I'd say the other ones, yes. Dak is kind of him at times when he's on. I mean, he knows him. Smitty, thoughts on Keaton Mitchell? Look, nice upside. Good player to stash. Feels like Spears, like kind of a Spears right now. Like not in the job, but if he did get in there, he'd be very, very good. Dave started Stroud, Olave, Higgins, Kincaid, Hopkins, Aaron Jones. Still have Eckler and Brees. I'm somehow losing by 40. What? Dave, I've got the same expression that you got in your avatar. That's insane, bro. That guy must have had the perfect storm of greatness on his team. But you still got a lot of points, though, to go. Bench, Terry, Tua, Deontay, Javonte, Dell. Trade up for who? Would I trade Deontay and Javonte for a JT or an Achane? Absolutely. Would I trade Dell and Javonte for Achane? Absolutely. Would I keep Tua? Probably. Debo's a fun player to go get. Deontay's got good trade value, and I still sell it. I'm not saying that he can't continue. We're all pretty confused about Pickens, but I would say, bro, like if I could trade Deontay and go get a doubted Cooper Kupp by throwing in something, Deontay and Javonte for Kupp, I'd do that. Mac, I think those are all pretty crafty moves. This one here from Little Nicky. Howell, Devontae Smith for Lamar. I guess I take Lamar because I think Lamar does outscore Howell by quite a bit, but that's tough, man. I mean, me look at your team one more time. Lamar, flex, Mixon, Smith, rest of season. I don't know. I would want more. Lamar and I want more. I think giving up Devontae Smith is tough. Howell's playing good, but do I trust Howell like I trust Lamar? No. And Lamar had a bad game, but I still feel like Lamar going forward is going to be a whole lot better. Should I played Ferguson over JSN? Should have played Ferguson over JSN. Look, JSN did pretty well. I mean, it was close, right? It wasn't like crazy different. But that's a woulda, shoulda, coulda. You know, if you knew it, you would have did it. It's not like those are close calls. Fergus starting a tight end over a wide receiver is tough, and JSN honestly should have scored. It's just Geno was not doing well at all. This is a $10 hauler for JSN to have done as he did. I mean, he was the lone bright spot on that offense. $10 hauler, 0.5, 10 team, 1 flex, Hurts, Swift, Bijan, Moore, AJ, Hawkinson, Puka. Sorry, rock out, by the way, if you lost. Or maybe you still could win based on Monday night. Dell, JSN, Kyron, Khalil, Taysom. I'm 7-2, 7-3 after my whole squad was on a bye week 10. Any moves you make? Bijan, Puka got me scared. Hurts, Swift, Bijan. I mean, I'd love to see if Eckler does bad. I'm going after Eckler. I'm going after JT. I'm going after, if I look at my rankings at thefantasyfootballshow.com, which is my ranking site. If we go to the rankings and we take a look and gander at the RBs, we see Tony Pollard that's cheap and attainable. Kamara just had a bad game. Achane I love buying. Walker's a buy low. There's going to be a lot of buy low opportunities this week. Not that there's not risk and moving parts to it that we got to assess every step. But like Bijan for Walker, maybe it's a safe swap. Maybe this guy that has Walker's done with Walker and he wants to swap a little bit of a risky situation with another risky situation. So that's one avenue to take. Pollard, maybe that owner is scared to death too, and they think Bijan's going to pop off, and maybe he does. But there are options for you if you want to get out of those running backs. Puka, I'd be worried as well about Puka, but I would say, like, can you trade Bijan and Puka for Eckler? Can you do that trade right now before Eckler pops off, and then that trade goes through effectively no matter what happens in the game? That's a scenario I would look at. 2 for 2s, like Bijan and Puka for Deebo Samuel coming off a bye week and a Achane who's been out, like something along those lines. $10 hauler from
to the moon.
My boy Ian. Ian, appreciate you. Hey Smitty, would you trade Watson, Flowers, and White for Adams? Christian Watson. Yeah, I probably would. I know Rachaad White just had a good game, but guess what? You're not sending him those points. So you can't just like hold on to a previous game and say, oh, this is what he is. I'd rather have Devontae Adams. I think Devontae Adams would be a great get. Could also do Flowers and White for Devontae Smith. I'd do that second if you can't do the other one. I like both those trades in that order that you listed them as. They're both very, very good. I like both players a lot. Smitty, I'm down 48.78. I have Breece Hall, Garrett Wilson, kicker from the Chargers, and Jets D. Can I pull it off? Yeah, I think you could. It's definitely possible. You need a big day out of Jet players, but it's certainly doable. Rockout says my bad team panic. 4-5. Burrow, who did pretty well tonight. Bijan, Walker, both did horrible for you. I'm sorry, bro. St. Brown, Olave, bye week hurt you. Olave did fairly well. Ayuk on a bye. You just had bye week city, bro. Dotson, I don't know if you had Dotson in there. Kincaid did well, but yeah, teams rock out. It's gonna be hard to trade. Other than, like I said, use Bijan to go get Tony Pollard and take a lateral risk. Bijan for like a Swift and Deebo if you wanted to go that route. Bijan for Achane, you might have to give up like a McLaurin or a Dotson. I think Dotson might be your friend to pair with Bijan or Walker if you wanted to try and upgrade one of them. I also feel like that team's capable of still winning if everything bounces back. I appreciate you all. Thank you for your super chats. And I don't know when this last gifted membership was from Wheel Snipe City, but the last 50 I still want to send them to Saturn. Just occasionally send him to Saturn. Antonio, $5 hauler. I have Pacheco and a running back too. He's productive but doesn't get enough usage. Should I try and package him with Dotson or Downs? Absolutely. You know, like Pacheco and Dotson for JT. Pacheco, let's go to the Fantasy Football Show rankings again. Let me take a look at them myself while I pull them up and say, you know, Pacheco and Dotson for JT. Pacheco and Dotson for HM. Pacheco and Dotson for Kyron and something. Pacheco and Dotson for, Kenneth Walker. And I might be naming somebody you have, but I'm just going off a list for everybody. Pacheco and Dotson for Cooper Kupp. Pacheco and Dotson for Devontae Adams. For Puka Nacua. For Devonta Smith. Those are all capable moves that I think put you in a good position if you want to buy low on somebody. And that's all I got to say about that. Appreciate you, Antonio, with the super chat. You are an absolute stud. Thank you, my guy. And let me see. Wheel Snipe City. Gifted. God, this guy's a monster. So he gifted 10. Wheel Snipe, how much is it charging you? Is it charging you $1.99 or $1 per one of these? I'm trying to add up everything. 10, 11, so 30, 80, 100, 30, 160, 100. So I think you're at 160 gifted memberships. What is it that you're gifting price wise on that? I want to make sure I add up the correct totals. You're an absolute monster. I just want to see what you're at because I want to let you know where you're at in terms of, how close you are to the record or anything like that. $2 per gift, I think. Okay, it's $2.99 per gift. Is it half off though? The first purchase, I think. I don't know if it is when you gift it. 160. Jeez, he's so close. Then on his super chats, Wheel Snipe on his super chats, if we add, so 4, I don't know what he gifted on that. Wheel Snipe, is it $2.99 or $1.99 that it charges you when you do that? 20 plus 2 plus 5 plus 50. No, hold on. Jeez, man. Wheel Snipe City's really, really close. $1.99. Okay, so it's $1.99. So he has 160 times 199 plus 70, 388 plus 600. He's $211. I'm not trying to get Wheel Snipe City to do $211, but he's $212 away from being the highest, we'll call it gifter of the year in a single live stream. Not over Ron Navy's 765, but over Garrett, who has the emoji, and no one's ever taken the emoji from Garrett. It would be Wheel Snipe Cities if he took it. I want him to know his options. Everyone's saying, please, Wheel Snipe emoji, please. Cajun wants a Wheel Snipe emoji. Burrow, 12-team standard, no flex, 4 and 5. Burrow, Brees, Jacobs, Amon-Ra, Puka, Laporta, Achane, Henderson, Dotson, Josh, Taysom. Any moves? Honestly, I'm going to say this team's really, really solid. And unless I'm trading like a Dotson and maybe like a Jacobs to get an Eckler, an RB that we like just a tad more, I'm waiting on this team. Jacobs, moving Jacobs up to what? Like, what is even an upgrade aside from Eckler, CMC, and who else? Looking at the Fantasy Football Show rankings, it's like Breece Hall, maybe. ETN? I guess ETN. I guess I would go after ETN and Breece Hall, maybe an Eckler. And if you can't get those from Jacobs, I definitely would do that. Give me ETN, give me Eckler, give me Breece Hall. I would throw Dotson in with Jacobs. I think Jacobs' upside might earn you something in a trade right now. And so I'll go after that. Maybe a JT if you're feeling kind of crafty. If you like JT a lot, I would say Kamara is still worth it. So Kamara as well. Those would be the guys that I would upgrade Jacobs using Dotson and throw Dotson in for free to get it done. $1.99, 3 and 5, up 3.5 points versus the number 1 seed. My Eckler versus his Allen. I would rather have Eckler over Allen right now, but anything can happen. That's a really close call. Kamara for Bijan and Adams. I would take Bijan and Adams Professor Stroke. And this is where we will have a buy low, sell high video. And in a Bijan, I'm even going to write this down to talk about this one. Bijan and Adams. What was that? What was that from Stroke? It was Bijan and Adams. This is a perfect one for Kamara. This is where it's like Kamara also struggled, but has been doing well for so long. There is a world where you can buy Bijan, you know, and you put yourself in a zero risk proposition because you're getting Adams, who could arguably be as good as Kamara if he starts popping off. So you're getting yourself that 2-for-1 advantage. Current roster: Burrow, Goff, Cook, Gibbs, Ford, Chase, Waddle, Laporta. I'm probably selling Waddle if I can. I'm probably selling Cook if I can. Cook and Waddle together can get you what? JT, can it get you, looking at the fantasyfootballshow.com rankings again. I'm going to take a look at my own rankings. You can get yours as well over on thefantasyfootballshow.com. The question was, it was Waddle and Cook. Waddle and Cook could maybe get you Taylor, could maybe get you Mostert, could maybe get you Barkley, could maybe get you Kyron, could maybe get you Kupp, Puka, Devontae Adams, Devonta Smith. And again, you might own these guys. I'm not looking at your roster at this moment in time. I'm trying to spit off a bunch of names for everybody. Kelsey's a fantastic buy low right now. For everybody that we've been talking about buy low, and I haven't said Kelsey, go after Kelsey. Kelsey, if you don't find that the wide receivers are plentiful and available via buy low opportunities. Tank Dell's a good sell high, but also a good hold. If it's me, I'm trying to use Waddle. I'm trying to use Cook. Did you have Kincaid or anybody? No, you only have Laporta, so you probably hold on to Laporta. But Cook and Waddle and Ford, even all three together potentially to get one JT, one Kupp, one Kelsey, one whatever. Laporta and maybe Waddle for Kelsey. I mean, I'd even maybe throw in Ford in that kind of situation. Very, very close call. Anthony, appreciate you. Oh man, it's been a crazy. JT Mostert, I'd rather have JT. Sell Waddle for sure. Man is made of glass. I agree. At this point, it's crazy. Waddle has been hurt. Let's open the phone lines briefly. I'm only going to do 30 seconds. Doesn't matter who you are. Doesn't matter. Marsmen, get in first, and I move you to the front of the line. That's how that works. But I'm making everybody 30 seconds, and I'm hanging up. So you got to get your question in quick. Phone lines are open. Call into the. Is it the? It's the Christopher Smith phone line.
Into the show. Call into the show.
I can't change the rules based on what people are dropping and trying to manipulate it, just to try and make this is still the Christopher Smith phone line, because this does reserve for the highest super chatter. Call into the Christopher Smith phone line. I'm putting Wheel Snipe City on here because he also dropped $310 in super chats. He's got 160 gifted memberships. He's got $478 roughly in gifted memberships. And Will Snipe City's got $70 in super chats. So that puts him at a whopping, I think, what was it? 478 plus 70 puts him at 5. No, it's not 178. I'm sorry. It was 160 times 160. Hold on, let me recalculate this. It was 160 times. Hold on, I gotta get these callers on here. Okay, hang tight, callers. 1 second. 160 times 199, not 299. So times 199. I'm sorry, it was 318. $318 in gifted memberships by Wheel Snipe City, plus his $70 puts him at 388. So he's at $388 right now. Okay. Dell, boom or bust. When he booms, he's nuclear. Definitely, HM. Appreciate you. HN ceiling is top 5. I agree on that, Travis. And then this super chat right here. I got 2 super chatters. Then I'm going to go to the phone callers. Slitty says C-Mac and Godwin for Bijan, Javonte, D-Hop. Come on, bro. Christian McCaffrey by 100,000 miles at this point. We're not messing around with that. Box of juice $5. Thank you for your super chat, by the way. Box of Juice says, I trade Waddle and Burrow away for Achane and Love. I would take Achane and Love. I have Herbert and Kyler. Of course, this is a smash. This is a got-em moment for you specifically, given your build. Fantastic trade.
Got him.
Okay, Rock Out is Marsman. He goes first. Rock Out, Marsman. You got 30 seconds. Go.
Yeah, what's the hotline to get rid of Arthur Smith?
1-800 very bad mustache.
It's like Blindside movie where when Sandra Bullock says run the ball and then he hangs up the phone.
Yeah, he's a. I honestly think that this man bought a pool. He ordered a pool when he's buying his house. He said, "Go ahead and put a pool in." And when they put the pool in, he said, "Don't fill it with water." This is Arthur Smith. Arthur Smith ordered a side of bacon at breakfast and then just dumped it onto the table and just scooted it off by the salt. This guy is he doesn't know how to use anything. Unbelievable.
He only gets bacon, no pancake.
Yeah. Let me get a side of butter, and he just takes the butter and just dumps it onto the table. This is an absolute imbecile. All right. Anything else, Rock Out?
I mean, you basically already covered in the message, but I'm gonna have a hard time deciding who to start, so I'm probably have to trade somebody.
Yeah. Well, we'll do a lot of trade sesh over the week, so we'll get some stuff going. But call back if you have a specific trade, okay? Hit me with another call. We're gonna do the phone line for just a little bit here, not too long. Jay, you got 30.
I'm looking to possibly shop C.J. Stroud as well as Saquon Barkley. Wondering if you would do that. I've got JT, I've got Kamara, and I also have Lamar Jackson as my other quarterback.
JT Kamara, Lamar. Okay, so yeah, I mean, like Stroud and Barkley should get you like 8. Like I'm just throwing this out. I don't know if you have Achane on IR, but he should get you like an Achane and a.
I'm looking to get a receiver.
Like Puka. But what I'm saying is this Barkley Stroud should get you Achane and Puka or something. You know, it should get you something significant. It should get you it could get you a Jamar Chase and something potentially. You could get Chase and something. I don't know if you get Achane, but you get Chase and something. You could get a Devonta Smith who's doing well, but not well enough to warrant this. So then you can get that Achane and Smith. So I would look at the Achane owner. I'd also look at a couple other RBs that I think would be pretty fantastic to acquire with the wide receiver. If you're sending both of these off, you should get 2 players. So I look at the Gibbs owner. I look at the Pollard owner. I look at the Kenneth Walker owner. I would look at, you might have mentioned you own one of those guys. Some of this is helping other people too. Kyron Williams owner, and then circle back around to their wide receiver room and try and add that wide receiver that you want. And then you get that whole, you get that 2 for 2 going where you actually take advantage of getting rid of Stroud for your lineup. You don't just have to go after a wide receiver. You're also getting another piece. But Achane would be my favorite anchor in that trade, bro.
Perfect. Thanks, Smitty. I offered for Amon-Ra, but it might be wishful thinking.
I wouldn't give both of those for Amon-Ra, I don't think. I think I'd want something else.
Got it.
I don't know. What's the chat think? I just think, look, Stroud just may have get you the world right now. Don't just sell him like yesterday's price, Like, I think getting rid of Stroud and Barkley for Amon-Ra is you're underselling the duo, bro. All right, appreciate you, Jay. Let's go over to Elvis from Oregon. What's up, Elvis?
What's up, Smitty? Hey, you're the man. I just cannot stress this enough. I know you're exhausted probably at this point, but appreciate your hard work and your analysis.
I appreciate that. Look, I would complain, but I have the best job in the world. And if it's stressful for me to come in and be like, fantasy football in general had a bad week, or if I have to take heat for something I said in the offseason, for getting Bijan wrong and trying to take ownership of that, like, I mean, that's the worst part of my job. I have no problems. But there is a lot of work and exhaustion going through all this, so I appreciate you saying that. But I love this. I can't think of a better thing to do. And to be honest with you, I can't wait to try and stave off the risk even better next year than this year, and think of ways to do that. Like I always say, when someone has a red flag, so you have a red flag, whenever a player has 2 red flags, or multiple red flags, you run from the player, because there's just a lot of, especially, depending on what the red flag is. But we've never really fully weighted down these red flags. What is Arthur Smith? Even though I do believe Arthur Smith was harder to see coming than it's ended up working out to be, because of what he did last year with Algier. And given the fact that the team spent such a high draft pick on Bijan, there wasn't a lot of, like, even though some people want to be negative on Arthur Smith and say Algier was going to get all the work, whatever, I don't know that there was a lot of sound logic embedded in that, because everything told you they ran the ball way more than Algier could ever handle. And it's just like, but there are some things like going into the coming year where we're going to say, okay, an Arthur Smith red flag type of situation weighs equivalent to injury proneness and, let's say, early volume concerns. But we do believe they'll get volume later on. Like, where I'm going to put something together, it's going to be a whole lot more robust for this year. And there'll be times where even I put myself in check with my red flag system that we're going to implement. I'm really excited about 2024, and I don't say that in any way, shape, or form for anybody to feel like we're packing it in or anything like that. We got a lot of great stuff happening right now. It's just this week was shitty, like plain and simple. There's a handful of players that did really well. Some of you may have that, but I'm always thinking about the next year. Don't let that make you think we're turning toward next year already. I'm always looking to next year. I'm always so excited about January. January is my favorite time of the year. All the draft buzz, all the rookie stuff. I am a little drained, I'm sure, as you are, over the injuries and the busts and the Achilles tears are just insane. Like the Achilles tears are just
Achilles,
like,
that's new.
It's
something completely new. It's a phenomenon.
ACLs were it. Now it's Achilles. I mean, it's crazy how it comes in droves, but we'll attack it all in proper fashion, believe me. But we still got 2023 to finish out. We still got championships to win. And even if people are crawling into the playoffs right now, we're going to crawl in. If you're going to crawl in, we're going to run in if we're going to run in. Some of us have better teams than others. Some of our leagues are better than some of our other leagues. Some of us have 5 good leagues and 2 bad leagues. Some of us have 2 good leagues and 5 bad leagues. We're crawling in. We're running in. We're doing it at whatever. And we're going to go win as many championships as we can and get back here and rinse and repeat, but rinse and repeat in a much better way for 2024. All right, what do you got for me? And then I'll
Smitty, I really appreciate you saying that. So I've got 2 things real quick, as fast as I can. The first thing is, I think it's more of a message to people that are new to you, people that have been followers of you forever. Just, you're one man, right? And to put all of the weight, because all this is prediction. Right?
It's okay. You don't, bro. I appreciate you, but you don't need to come in and defend me. Hit me with a question. I appreciate that, but don't worry about it. There's no concern here. Okay. So let's just move. Yeah, go ahead.
My question is, I was really high on Dobbs last week, and I thought this was going to be the greatest. I think I even did a super chat. It's going to be the greatest opportunity he's ever had in his life with all the talent and with no practice. Essentially, the guy picks up the playbook of like 3 days ago and goes out and performs the way he did without JJ. And I don't care what their record is. I'm saying JJ comes back with a vengeance because Dobbs gives them the juice that they've never had in Minnesota. And I'm really excited about that. So my question for you is, now that he's performed with virtually no practice, he wasn't even supposed to play today, and Jared Hall was actually looking pretty decent. He was way better than I thought he would be. What do you think the outlook for Dobbs in that situation is going to be considering how he performed? And the second question is, what does that mean for JJ, who I traded for, is listening to you, and I'm waiting for him and A-Chain to go off.
Yeah, so I hit this earlier in tremendous detail, so make sure if you missed it, watch that part of it. But in a nutshell, no, it's fine. In a nutshell, we don't really know. This is great. It's better than it was. Is he nearly as good as Cousins? No way. Not in terms of like wins, or because maybe this guy actually helps this team win better than Cousins. Who the hell knows? He's a fighter. He's scrappy. It's amazing what he did. But Cousins is going to throw for 400 yards. Dobbs is going to throw for like 230, or whatever, and have that 1 to 2 touchdowns. Where Cousins is the kind of guy that's going to feed both Addison, Hawkinson, and JJ. So while it's better that Dobbs is there than not there, JJ may not even return if Dobbs isn't in this situation. The fact that they won the game again, the fact that Dobbs looked great, the fact that JJ will be motivated, there's a high likelihood JJ returns on time, and that's good. His value goes up from where it was when Dobbs wasn't in the picture. But I don't know that we're getting JJ that we know and love. There's really no way I can see him being that good. But I think buying him low is good. I think there was nothing wrong with that. I just don't know. Did you trade for him before Cousins went down?
I think I traded for him the week, and I also got Cousins on my team. And I had tried to write a super chat about that because I have Watson, Levis as a backup to Hurts if I should pick up Dobbs and Levis.
Look, JJ's never been an amazing buy since Cousins went down. But he certainly went back up in value the moment Dobbs landed on the squad. He's just not going to be wide receiver one. He can't be wide receiver one. He could be like top 5 still somehow, some way. It's certainly possible. JJ's that good, but his opportunities definitely are going to go down from where they were with Cousins, but they definitely go back up way above. Like, had they not traded for Dobbs, I would have said, bro, JJ just lost so much value. Oh, my God. And he may not even return on time. They're going to continue to lose. Why would they rush him back? They're probably going to want to take a dive on top of that. But things are way better than they were. So I like him a lot, but I'm still tempted to trade him off of this, this news, because if you can get, as I always tell someone, to go get that like 2-player package where you're getting that Achane and you're getting that other player that wide receiver wise, like Puka, who I'm telling you, people are freaking out about Puka. They're in a panic about Puka. Like, you could potentially get this package right now for JJ off of the Dobbs situation. Like, you would not have done that if Hall went in there and crapped the bed and everybody lost and fantasy points and the Vikings lost the game. You wouldn't be able to get anything for JJ, but now you can. So I would explore it. I'm not saying to sell him low. I just explore trading JJ away if you can get you the right 2 players. Or even Cooper Kupp straight up is tempting.
Well, Smitty, I have Diggs, Devontae Adams, and Nico Collins just to mitigate the risk of JJ not turning out.
Well, can you trade JJ for Achane and something?
I have Achane.
Okay. Can you trade? Who's your quarterback?
Hurts. And I've got Watson and Levis.
Who are your running backs?
Mostert, Swift, and Hall.
Okay. You're probably good then, bro. You're probably the best team to have JJ, so I don't mind that. All right, Elvis, appreciate you.
That's why.
All right, man. Good job.
Right, appreciate you.
Later. All right, Draven, you got 30.
Smitty, 2 things. One thing, since I've been watching you, man, I don't know why you call it 30-second calls, because nobody gets 30 seconds, bro. You give them like 10 minutes. Wow. And then second thing, can you please draw a pile of crap and put Draven's fantasy team above it and label it?
Draw a what?
A piece of crap, like poop. Draw poop and put Draven's fantasy team.
Okay.
Can you do that for me?
Sure. You're gonna have to screenshot it yourself. All right. You get ready to take a photo of it. Okay. I'm not gonna email this to you. All right. Hold on.
Okay, I'm gonna screenshot it. Okay, bye, Smitty.
Okay, bye. All right, here we go. Okay. Draven. He wants this as his team name or his team photo. Draven's team. There you go. Let me put on full screen. Let me get myself off here so Draven can take an adequate photo of it. Draven, take your screenshot now, please. Take your screenshot now, Draven.
Howdy ho.
Okay. Ethan, what can I do for you? That's probably the first time that's ever been requested.
Smitty, listen to this play call. You have your tight end 3 throw to your tight end 2, and then you have your tight end 1 block. How does that sound to you?
I don't know. Ethan, why you always come in with these weird, like, fables and just ask a normal question, Ethan.
Would you rather watch Arthur Smith game or Whiplash, the movie?
You know, I think I may have spoken too harshly on Whiplash. I didn't finish it. So let me just back up. What was the other one? I almost think I was even mixing up the two names of the movies when I first said it. What was the other one about the wrestler? It was I think it had the guy from
that was Foxcatcher.
Foxcatcher. I think when I said that I didn't finish Whiplash because I wasn't enjoying it, but I didn't give it a full chance. And everybody roasted me in the comments like Whiplash was a great movie, so I need to watch it. So that's on me. But Foxcatcher was I actually called Apple and I'm like, how do I hide this movie from my library? Or can I delete it? Like, can I actually delete it so that it never shows up ever again? It makes me mad when I have a movie I hate in my library. And I don't just want to hide it. I want to delete it. Foxcatcher was awful. Anyway, anything else, bro? No fantasy question?
I think that's about it.
All right.
Let's see. What did you think of Jerome Ford today?
I think he feels like he's a productive guy. I like him a lot.
Yeah, I heard he was seeing stacked boxes, but he's still like
he's still the guy. He was definitely not the game you wanted, but he still feels really solid. He's playing good football.
All right. Well, have a good one.
Thanks. Call back if you got another one. All right. I'm actually, it's been a long night. Let me hit this caller real quick. You're live. Who's this? Turn the show down in the background if you could. 270 caller. Who's this and where are you calling from? Jeff from Kentucky. Thank you for turning it down in the background. Sometimes it blares and I gotta. Jeff from Kentucky. What can I do for you, Jeff?
I've got Hawkinson and Laporta. I'm ready to move off Hawkinson. Who do you think I could get for him at this point?
Hawkinson is tough to trade, but not impossible, especially with Dobbs coming in and doing well. So I would say, looking at my thefantasyfootballshow.com rankings, which you all can see if you go to thefantasyfootballshow.com, I would say Hawkinson probably gets you Devonta Smith, a Puka Nacua, depending on how Keenan Allen does. Garrett Wilson, a Deebo Samuel, and maybe something, a Calvin Ridley, and maybe something. I think you start getting lower than that, and you're starting to, run out of, I think, a value that matches Hawkinson. But would I trade him for Puka straight up? I think you can get that. I think I wouldn't sell myself short. And I'd even say you might even be better off to be the kind of person that adds a little something into that. And you do a little two players, Hawkinson being one of the two for that Puka or Cooper Kupp. And maybe instead of trying to find the 1-for-1, send 2-for-1 so you can get a little bit better player than Hawkinson that would normally get you.
Okay. Sounds good.
All right, bro. Appreciate you. Later.
Thanks, Smitty.
All right. Yeah. Show loves you back. Last super chat here from Kazoodle. Running back Pollard, Pacheco, Swift, Hubbard, Nacua, Keenan Allen, Tank Dell to the moon. Dobbs, Love, any moves. You're not going to like this, Kazoodle, but I don't think you got Dell. You could sell Dell high, but you don't have anybody that you can sell high right now. You got to wait for Keenan Allen to do his thing. Maybe he becomes a sell high, and you could go get like a JT for Keenan. If Keenan blows up, JT and Debo, or JT and Ridley for Keenan Allen. Like, I'd wait for that. Puka, can't sell him high right now. Can't even sell him medium. Pacheco, can't sell him. Swift, can't sell him. Pollard, definitely can't sell him. Quarterbacks, can't sell him. So I would be doing you a disservice by sending you out there to make a low, sell your guys low for, I'm going to say hold. I'm going to say hold Kazoodle. It'll be okay. Next week we'll have more, I think, wiggle room. Let Keenan Allen do his thing and hang tight for now. Appreciate you all. I want to thank all my $20 super chatters. I'll be here tomorrow. My super chatters include, my $20 super chatters include, where are you at? We had a 20 wad from freaking, good God, some of you dropped some monsters tonight. We had Wheel Snipe City dropping a 50, Hassan dropping a 20, Wheel Snipe City dropping a 20, dropping all the gifted memberships he did. If anybody else dropped another one, I know I had it somewhere here. I don't know if I'm missing anybody. I'm sorry. But you guys are monsters. Wheel Snipe City to Saturn. Hassan, you've been doing Hassan things. Christopher Smith lately. Ron Navy in the past and usually always in here. TM42. Andre, Marco, Owen, Young dropping super chats. Game 7, G-Dog. B-Men. Megas. Tony G. Llama. And Hudat Lolo. Appreciate you. Sky Ward. Jonathan. Matt Felton. Racing Boy, Ken Rosa, Whale, appreciate you, Professor Stroke, David, Mac, Klansky, Dave, Mac, Little Ricky, Rock Out, my boy Rock Out, Skyward, Ian, Raul, Rock Out, Antonio, Akami, Paul, Professor Stroke again, Anthony's, Slitty, and Box of Juice, and Kazoodle. Appreciate every single one of you. I'm sorry if anybody's having bad weeks. We're going to try and get you right size this coming week, walking into tomorrow. So get ready for a bunch of buy low content, bunch of Monday night content. We got the Monday night game and a whole lot of other breaking news. You know, your boy goes live whenever news breaks. So hit me tomorrow in the live stream, live whenever news breaks. Also, we're live Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern. And also other uploads throughout the night, and also graveyard shifts. We go live more than anybody you know. See you all tomorrow, minimum 8 p.m. Eastern. But probably before then. Maybe even tonight if news breaks. Maybe Arthur Smith gets fired tonight and we go live. But the continuum of the gigawatt component structure of Jahmyr Gibbs' workload divide has a megawatt offload that if you compartmentalize the component conjunction timekeeper and you flux capacitor out the continuum component megabolt, things just end up happening. And that's why Jahmyr Gibbs is a top 5 to 10 running back instead of top 6 to 10. Draven, I'm on the way out the door, Draven. You got 10 seconds.
Okay. How was your hot dog?
It was great, and I might go get another one because they're open still. They're open midnight. They're open till about midnight. So you're keeping me from maybe getting another hot dog, Draven. I got to go.
Okay, I'm sorry. Pray for my fantasy team. Bye.
All right, did you get your photo screenshot?
Yeah, I got it.
Okay,
I put
good.
it on though. Thank you. I appreciate it. Smitty to the moon, baby.
All right,
Let's go.
Later. All right, later, guys. 8 p.m. Eastern, Monday through Friday. Deuces. Yeah, you never know when the show's going to come back. It's like a Marvel movie. That's true. Everybody always says that. All right, out of here. Almost out of here. XDS, last super chat, then I'm out of here. Allen, Love, Bijan, Allen, Alvin Kamara, ETN, CD, Olave, Rice, Ridley, Godwin, Kincaid, Musgrave, trades, no playoffs, best record wins. No playoffs, okay. Best record wins. Try and go after the... I'd use Alvin Kamara and ETN as your RBs. I want Achane bad. I'm using Bijan to get Achane. I'm using Bijan to go get Kupp. I hate to say that about Bijan, but and you're gonna have to throw something into that, obviously. But Musgrave and Kincaid both earned some value. So go find the tight end needy teams and exploit that. That's probably what I'm trying to do most of all. Past that, I probably would let it ride because your team's really good. Olave, I think, comes around. CeeDee Lamb's going nuts. Kincaid's fantastic. Musgrave's solid too. Josh Allen's fantastic. Alvin Kamara will be fine. ETN's been going nuts. That's a really good team. I'd be more cautious to not do anything than to make the wrong move, but certainly explore. And bring any exact trades, but go after Achane, go after Cooper Kupp using Bijan and something smaller and see what's what. Rice is very tradable, the tight ends, like I said, and specifically what is the tight end needy team or teams need in your league. Then you attack that, bring it back to me. Appreciate you. All right, now I'm out of here. Deuces.